Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and this is RetroStar once again, showing you probably the last and final batch of my games. Finishing out the barrel on the second side. We're starting out with Nintendo's Gyromite. Very nostalgic game, as you can see. Really catchy soundtrack. To tell you the truth, as a kid, I wish I can go back and experience the Rob machine or whatnot. But of course, when I got my Nintendo, it was the action set, not the deluxe, which came with Rob. I believe 2 controllers. I think you got the gun too, and this game Gyromite too as a pack-in game. Of course, that wasn't the bundle that I got. I got the action set with Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and the Zapper 2 controllers. I'm pretty thankful for, my experience. But, Rob would have been a cool experience. Even though I don't hear too many good things about Rob. And, of course, Gyromite, this is a game that you play with it. Not too many things I hear about the game, about how it plays. Rob is supposed to be a second companion to a person that needs someone to play with. And from what I hear, he's not exactly a great companion to play with. But I guess soon enough, I'm gonna go ahead on and pick up a Rob and try it out for myself and judge for myself. But still a very fun game. I think it's would probably rather play it by myself, but everybody wants to experience Rob at least once or twice, or whatever it's worth. But still, this is an honor. Not too much experience with Gyromite, but this is an awesome collection piece to have in your collection. It's pretty cheap. I got it for 99 cents at a retro store. And it's a pretty decent game, definitely. But still, definitely got to put it together with Rob as a nice collections display anyways, because of, nostalgicness. But this is Gyromite from Nintendo, our black box title, one of our early launch titles, Gyromite. And we're going to move on. Second game I got here is Ikari Warriors from SNK. Lots of memories with Ikari Warriors, I definitely would say. I guess I would say my first impression of Ikari Warriors was not great. At first, to me, the gameplay was just a little bit too choppy. Your character dies a little too easily. The game is like horribly, insanely hard. I mean, I guess before I discovered the ABBA trick, it was just okay for me for a while. You know, once I played with a second player, it actually got 10 times better. But I actually was much more of a fan of Ikari Warriors 2 Victory Road than this one. This is nostalgic, I would definitely say, but as far as the liking of it, my first impression of Ikari Warriors was not great. But still nostalgic, still a great game, and honored to have it in my collection. You know, as a nostalgic sakes, and all of the experiences that I experienced playing this game with my brother and my sister, and all of the deaths and frustration that I went through with this game. It's just, who would pass that up? I mean, great, incredible memories of classic gaming. And this is Ikari Warriors from SNK. Definitely a nostalgic cartridge. Definitely. And we're going to move on. Here's another gem right here. I don't know if too many people remember Narc. No One Had Guts Until Now from Acclaim. I don't know too many people remember playing this on the NES. This is, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is also an arcade game too. I think I remember playing this at the arcades. Pretty decent game in the arcades. You know, a nice little, pretty much a shoot 'em up game. 2 players, I might add, which made it very, very, very fun game to play, with 2 players just blasting all the bad guys into oblivion, you know, to pieces. But you know, definitely a nostalgic cartridge. Decent music. The music in it is pretty catchy. I don't know about the boss fights. The boss fights are kind of bland to me. But you know, this game gets, you know, seems to get harder and harder as you progress in it. But as I may say, you know, it was an easy game for me to play, especially with another partner, and an easy game for me to beat. I believe I did finish this game in the arcades and on the NES. Rented this game from the video store. For some reason, after playing the arcade, I just really felt the need for playing this game at home and just to see how the port is, and how great experience. I had a great experience in the arcades, but my home experience was pretty decent, you know, playing with my brother and my sister. It was still great. But nonetheless, still a great game, nostalgic game. Very honored to have this in my collection. So if you don't have this game, I think that any arcade goer should definitely have this in the NES collection for great memories, nostalgic battles with bad guys, and just overall great times in the old days. Alright, this is Narc from Acclaim, and we're going to move on. Okay, this is a nostalgic cartridge. I was definitely a skater back in the 80s and 90s. Not a skateboarder. I was a rollerblade racer. And you know what I'm saying? I have to definitely say Skate or Die was actually, surprisingly to me, a very good game. Very fun game. I was just pretty daring back in the days. I would pretty much pick up any game off the shelf and just say, hey, you know what, I'm going to try this game. You know, of course, if the game didn't suit you very well, you was always welcome to bring it back, as long as you bring it back in the same day and get something else. So I was willing to try anything, and surprisingly, Skate or Die was awesome to me. All of my fondest memories of Skate or Die was very great. I definitely have to say the music is very nostalgic and very awesome. Of course, it being a game from Ultra, it definitely was great music in this game, especially the title screen music. And, you know, of course, all the little tricks that you play on the skateboard, and then all the little things that you do on it, whether you're in the pool or you're skating on a ramp. It's actually really fun. A very fun game. And I picked this game up definitely because I enjoyed it as a kid. And it was very nostalgic for me, and very great times playing this with my brother. You know, us to see who could do the better tricks and who could get the best scores in this game. Me and my brother used to go head and head just to see who was the better skater. So that's why it's called Skate or Die, because if you don't skate, then you'll die. Anyways, this was a great game. I believe came out in 1988. This is a 1988 title, late 80s. But actually a pretty good game and very fun game, I might add. So, Ultra's Skate or Die, 1988 title, and we're going to move on. I don't know if you guys remember pro wrestling. I remember. This is actually an original black box title. I used to play this a lot with my brother. I wasn't really a diehard sports fan. I was not a diehard sports fan at all when it came to video games, or wrestling. And I'm still not into wrestling. I still don't like wrestling, but this game was actually pretty fun. This is a launch title from Nintendo. Pro wrestling. Great and nostalgic music in this game. Pretty fun. I used to always play the Starman. For some reason with Starman, I was unbeatable. You know, I was able to play through this entire game. And had even actually played my brother in this game, and my boyfriend decides to think that he could step up to the plate and challenge me in pro wrestling. And I just have to tell you, he perished very dearly playing against me in this game, because I ripped it up with Starman. But it was okay. You know, he didn't take it too hard. He was pretty much a good loser, but all at the same time, this was still a fun game. Regardless of the way I felt for pro wrestling or wrestling, this was actually a game that actually made wrestling pretty fun. And it's definitely a lot more real, because it pretty much feels like you're in the ring with these guys. But pro wrestling, a great, if you're a wrestling fan, I definitely think you should pick this one up. This is definitely a good wrestling game. Alright, this is pro wrestling from Nintendo Entertainment System. I believe this came out in 1987 or 86, being that it is an original launch title. But, you know, these were some of the games that we had, you know, for some of us early Nintendo owners at the time. We had a great selection of games to start out with, and this was one of them. Alright, pro wrestling, 1986, Nintendo, and we're going to move on. Again, not a sports fanatic, but this is one basketball game that I actually really enjoyed. Double Dribble from Konami. As you can see, there's a reason why that this is nostalgic, because it's in a Konami game. And I have to tell you, it was kind of a groundbreaking basketball game, because it actually has cutscenes to where your players are actually doing dunks. Have you ever seen that in any other Nintendo cutscene in the game? No, this was actually the first game I saw that had cutscenes of all of the tricks and dunks that your player does or you happen to achieve. And that's what actually stand this apart from all the other basketball games, because hey, you get a chance to see an up-close picture of your player dunking in style. So that's what pretty much made this a pretty nostalgic game, along with the great music in it, along with the incredibly addicting gameplay. Very addicting, especially when you're playing against a computer. A computer can kick your butt sometimes, but I think I ended up playing through the entire season in this game. But when you play against another player, it's actually twice as fun. We used to have tournaments in this game. Let's see, what team did I used to pick all the time? I believe the Chicago Bulls were the ones that I picked all the time because, you know, is that Larry Bird there? I don't know, who is that? Whatever. Doesn't look like Larry Bird, but some white kid, I guess. But anyways, this was a great and nostalgic basketball game. If you're a basketball fan, I think this is one of them you should check out, because this was actually one of my favorite. Not being a sports fan in any game, even today's genre and generation, my bad, was not really a fan of them. But I'll play basketball games, you know, if they're decent. But this was actually one that was nostalgic and stuck by me as a kid. So this is Konami's Double Dribble, I believe came out in 1988. One of the early titles that I rented for when I first got my Nintendo Entertainment System. This was one of the games that I first rented. So, great memories with this. So we're going to move on. Wow, I didn't realize this batch of games was so full of sports games, but this is another game actually that I picked out. Not the hugest ice hockey fanatic, but this was actually one ice hockey game that I really loved. This was also a Nintendo title. For some reason, Nintendo was very good at releasing these sports games. They're, you know what I'm saying, there's just something about them. These Nintendo sports games that just made them so playable. You know, because I don't like sports games. But for some reason, the Nintendo ones are the ones that really, really stuck by me. Ice hockey was a great game. Definitely, especially when you're playing with a second player. Even better when you're playing the computer. I think playing with a second player in this is actually a blast. You know? Definitely. Even though the characters in this game, they look really funny. And I guess when I first seen them, I'm like, why do they look like that? It's hard to explain how they look. They're like really short. They look like a little ball or something with eyeballs and a stick. But when you play the game is actually really, really fun. And what really catches your attention, I think, is the music. The music in the game is really catchy, extremely catchy, and it'll make the gameplay experience very, very, very memorable. But this is actually a early title. It doesn't look like a black box title, but it is an early title because it has that symbol there. That's sports genre. What is that? Somebody's signature on this? Wow. I'm gonna have to look at that later. I didn't notice that before. But anyways, this is actually a Nintendo's title, a definitely decent one. Decent ice hockey game. So if you're an ice hockey fanatic and you've never played this game, I think you should check it out. Or better yet, just collect it. It's pretty cheap. I got this actually from a video game store for $1. I was very happy to find this game. I say, wow, I remember ice hockey. So hey, you can't go wrong. A nostalgic game, 99 cents, sets you back just $1. Can't go wrong with that. So I had to scoop this one up and have it in my collection for nostalgic's sake, and of course the awesomely cheap price. Alright, this is Ice Hockey from Nintendo, and we're going to move on. I'm not sure if a lot of you are familiar with this game. This is a Super Team game. Let me zoom in on this. If anybody has ever owned the Power Pad back in the days, this was one of your Power Pad titles that you can play with the awesome Power Pad. This is not the game that I played with, though, that was really great with the Power Pad. I think it was another game. It was actually a packing game for actually my friend Corey. Oh, it was the one that had got when he got his NES for Christmas. He got the Power Pad. I think the Power Pad set. So where it comes with the Power Pad, I believe 2 controllers, and then it comes with a packing game. This is not the packing game that came in with the Power Pad, unfortunately. But it came in with, I believe I do have that. It's called World Class Track Meet, which is the first game I played with the Power Pad, which is totally awesome. This is not the title, but this was, decent. I wouldn't say it's as good as that game, but it's pretty decent. I had recently purchased the Power Pad, so this is one of the games that they had that came with a bundle. So I was like, okay, well, one game is better than no games, but eventually I had to go back and find that World's Class Tracks Meet game that I played when I was a kid. When my friend Corey brought it over to my house. We played the crap out of that game. But I got to definitely tell you, when you play that track and field game, it is a good workout. I got to the point where I could not run anymore with my legs. I had to do the cheating way, and I think everybody knows how we used to do it when we got tired. Right? The palm of our hands, right? We kind of got on our knees and just kind of hit it with our hands. Yes, I know, it's cheating, but you know what? Other than that, I would have to quit playing because I was getting very tired. But anyways, this is Super Team games. Not too much to say about this. I didn't play this very much, but this is a game that I picked up from RU Game that came along with my Power Pad, and I played it a little bit. It's pretty decent, but not as cool as the track and field game. So I'll say, what company is this from? Power Pad required. I don't know. It doesn't say. But anyway, it's not important. Let's just move on from this title. Wow. More sports games. Wow, this batch is just full of sports games. But anyways, this is a title I decided to pick up. This is Trade West Quarterback. Not bad. I wouldn't say it's a Tecmo Bowl. Actually, Tecmo Bowl was my favorite football game on the NES, but it was pretty decent. It was a pretty decent football game. I got it from my retro store from, I believe, Play and Trade. Play and Trade. Sorry, for $1. So I just decided to pick this up just to have it in my collection for nostalgic sake, but was not my favorite football game. So this is Trade West Quarterback, and I'm not sure. I see somebody's signature there. I can't read that. But anyways, we're going to move on from this. Okay, finally we move on from the sports games and move on to all of the awesome games. This is one that I decided to pick up. It's actually pretty awesome buy. It was $3. But I do remember playing this back in the day when I rented it. Let's see what the title is. The title is Legend of Kage. As a kid, I used to pronounce this Legend of Cage, but no, it's Legend of Kage. So Legend of Kage was a action platformer, side scroller, pretty decent game. It's pretty cool because you get to jump up in trees and stuff like you see in the old Kung Fu movies where you see guys flying from trees. You actually get to do that in this game. This game is actually from Taito. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Tahoe or whatever. Whatever. But this is actually a decent side stroller. I don't think I ever got a chance, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think I ever got a chance to finish this. I'm not sure. I would have to do some soul searching back in the day to see. Because unfortunately, there's some things that do decide to, memories that do absent my mind every now and then after a certain amount of years go by. But when I pop the game in, it'll come back automatically. Like popping in an old tape. But from what I played, it's a decent side stroller game. I don't remember the story mode in this because it's been years since I played it. But pretty soon once I get through with this video, I'm gonna be starting doing my super runs and my review runs. So I'm gonna definitely make this one of them that I review, and I'll give you guys the lowdown on the entire game, story mode, and everything that you want to know about it. But as of now, I'm just featuring this in my collection, so I'm not going to go into all of the depths of the game. But we're going to go ahead on and move on. Decent title. Music is great and nostalgic. And definitely a game you should check out. Very fun. And this is Legend of Kage from Taito. We're going to move on. Okay, finally we got ourselves a shooter here. Top Gun from Konami. Incredible company, of course. I don't know if you guys remember that movie back in the 80s, I believe 1986. Top Gun with Tom Cruise, and I'm not sure the name of the girl, but I know who can forget Tom Cruise. But anyways, this game is pretty decent. It's a one of those shoot 'em up games that we all love, like Afterburner or any of those games. This is pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's my favorite shooter, but because my favorite kind of shooters are side-scrolling shooters or vertical scrolling. You know what I'm saying? But it was actually pretty decent. The music is great and nostalgic. So I actually picked this one up. Cost me about $3 at Play and Trade or the flea market, or whichever ones that I picked this up from. It's pretty decent. It was actually pretty decent. I didn't spend too much time on this game because I think I got a little bored with it and just stopped playing it for some reason. But still a great and nostalgic game, and I just decided to pick it up for nostalgic sakes. So, Konami's Top Gun, I believe 1988 this was released. Not sure, but a decent game. Not my favorite, but decent. Alright, let's move on. Okay, this is the game that I was talking about earlier, the World's Class Track Meet game. That came with packed in with your power pad. If you got in that bundle. This game right here was awesome. Very awesome game. I used to love the challenge, like to do the story mode part of it. Especially when you're going up against the computer. Going up against a person is fun too, but going up a computer is really fun because you go up against different people, different sizes, different countries, and it seems, and you know what I'm saying, the more you process in this game, or you go the more that you proceed in this game, the harder it gets. Not only does it get harder, the guys that you run, they get completely like faster and faster and faster. I remember one guy I got to that was completely insane. I'm like, how do you expect me to beat this guy? It took a few tries for me, and I forgot what his name was. I think he was one of the old black characters in this. I forgot what his name was, but he was insanely fast. It's almost like it's almost like it only took him a second to reach the finish line. My phone, this always happens. My phone is ringing again while I'm recording. Wow. But anyways, I'll get it later. But anyways, I finally did, finish the game. But I would definitely say after finishing the game, I was insanely tired. Very tired I was, But I actually did get a chance to finish it. And, going up against each other was actually hilarious and fun too, because we'd actually get a chance to see who's the most athletic, because this power pad, when you do it with the way you're supposed to do it, it really tests your endurance. I mean, hugely, big time. And I remember one time I got so tired, I actually collapsed and was not even able to play no more because I got so insanely tired. Not to say that I lost, but you know what I'm saying? But of course, after playing the whole entire game, I was very exhausted. This thing would definitely, this game right here definitely will test your endurance and your athletic ability, definitely. But other than that, this was fun. So if you have a power pad, I would highly recommend you get this pack-in game back in the days with it, because this is actually the best game that you can get with it, and it's insanely fun. So I highly recommend it if you ever consider getting a power pad. Alright, this is Nintendo's World Class Track Meet, and we're going to move on from this title. Okay, here's a title that I think everybody recognizes. This is Rad Racer. This is a early release title, a launch release. Because as you can see, even though it's not a black background, but it has that symbol, and it has the nice has the pictures of the sprites here. Rad Racer was one of my first racing games that I've ever played on any game system. I don't think I've ever even played one on Atari. This actually was the first racing game I've ever played ever. I remember being in school in the 6th grade, and our teachers, I believe she allowed one of the students to bring in a Nintendo and hook it up to the TV that was inside of the classroom. And we were actually able to play Rad Racer in our classroom while we did our work. This was the very first time I saw Rad Racer. I actually was kind of sat back and watched all of the other kids play. It was like at least 30 kids in the classroom. I wasn't going to try to stand in line to get a play. I just basically watched it, pretty much. And, I was like, wow, this is a pretty awesome game. I'm going to have to check this out and rent it one day. But this is actually the first time I've seen it. This game. And actually, to tell you the truth, this actually debuted in the game The Wizard. I know you guys remember this from The Wizard, right? Okay? You remember the Power Glove guy playing this game with his Power Glove? We all remember Rad Racer being that title that, what's his name? Lucas Barton played to show off his skills on with his, what you call that thing? The Power Glove. That he actually showed his skills off on Rad Racer, thinking that he was the baddest and the raddest kid on the block with Rad Racer in his power pad and Power Glove. But anyways, other than that, very nostalgic game as far as the gameplay. So I've always found Rad Racer very hard for some reason. I found it very hard. You definitely have to make sure when you racing in this game that you don't either crash or, get pushed back from the cars, because you're on a time clock, and if you do not cross the line before the clock runs out, game over. So that's one of the things in this game that's really hard, because the more you proceed, the faster time you have to complete this game. I found it very difficult. Very difficult game here. But nostalgia game. And very, very, very great game. And let's try to see. You get a chance to look on the back here. Pretty clean. I actually picked this up from RU Game. Not too much. It cost me about $5. Pretty clean. Pretty clean. Whoever had this game is definitely taking care of it. But anyways, this game, I believe, debuted in 1987. And it was very nostalgic. One of the first games I've ever played with my NES. And just great. If you're a rad racer and you love racing games, for the NES, this is the one that you need to pick up. Alright, Rad Racer from Nintendo, and we're going to move on. Okay, so who can have Rad Racer 1 without having Rad Racer 2? This is Rad Racer 2. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was made from a different company for some reason. I don't think Nintendo made this one. This was made by a company called Square, or by the name of Square. This actually came out in 1990. Rad Racer 2. Pretty decent. I remember going out to rent this because I remember the original title being very good, so I went out and I rented the second one. Excellent. The second one is just as good as the first, I think. The music is definitely better though. The music is very, very insanely nostalgic and very catchy, and just, you know, it's pretty fast-paced and intense. The music is, and pretty much not as hard as the first one, but you know, I would definitely say probably better than the first one. I enjoyed this actually better than the first one. The music is awesome. It's pretty, you know, it's got music like you're coasting down to the beach or something like that. It's pretty awesome. And this came out in 1990. So if you do like racing games, I actually think that you should pick this one up as well. This is actually pretty good too. You know, not too much to say about this one. I played this briefly as a kid. I don't think I ever finished this one, but I definitely enjoyed playing it. Alrighty, let's move on. Okay. Oh Lord, another sports title. This is Major League Baseball. It was okay. I'm not too much into baseball games, but this one is actually okay. The company is from the LJN. Again, the same company that brought us Karate Kid. I didn't think I had another title from LJN, but this is from LJN. This is actually okay. Not great, but okay. Cost me only $1 or so. Definitely a good title I can throw in there for nostalgia and just a nice little shelf filler, I guess. Not much to say about it, so let's move on. Alright, here we go. This is Godzilla. I don't know if anybody remembers Godzilla back in the day. I definitely remember it. From Tahoe. Definitely Japanese. I used to watch the show Godzilla all the time. And not just the really old one. The Japanese versions. It used to come on TV late at night. I remember, you know, my dad used to love watching these for some reason. I was really surprised that my dad liked watching these, you know. But I used to watch it with my dad. Very hilarious. You know, watching all of the episodes of Godzilla movies. I remember there was 2 of them that I rented. I've actually gotten pretty hooked on watching Godzilla. So I remember one time I came across this game in the video store. So I was like, you know what? I like Godzilla. Let me pick this game up and see how it is. I rented it. I would definitely have to say the game was okay. It was an okay title. I would say the greatest title, but it was okay. It was the gameplay was a little awkward. It's like almost like sort of checkerboard type of. It pretty much shows a map of the entire game that you're going to be proceeding. You get a chance to see bosses that you will be approaching in the game. So it's almost like, you know, you pick your move, you move here, you move there, kind of like playing checkers, you know, or playing chess. You move here, you move there, and then, you know, you'll get a chance to see who you'll be fighting. And to some boards, you can go straight from one place or go straight to the boss that you're going to be fighting. And then once you enter that, you go straight to the boss, you go straight into a boss fight. The boss fights are awesome. I would definitely have to say in this game is probably the best thing about this game is the boss fights. But all the while you're traveling from one planet to another, and you're walking on a planet, and you got like all these little tiny guns that you're stepping on. Kind of like in the movie, he just like walks through a whole bunch of gunfire, and he's like getting shot by bullets and getting hit by this and that. And it's like, you know, but I would definitely have to say in this game, Godzilla's maybe a little too stiff, because once you proceed in the game, the gunfire gets heavier and heavier, and by the time you walk from one side of the screen to the other, Godzilla will die because you're getting all of these gunshots firing at him, and it's very difficult to dodge them because Godzilla moves so incredibly slow. And when he jumps, you know what I'm saying, he's like incredibly stiff. So it's like really stiff. My complaint is the gameplay in this is very stiff and repetitive. About the only thing you could do is probably punch, and then you can kick, one little kick, and then you can swing your sword. I mean, not sword, but your tail backwards to, you know, to combat any kind of guns or the enemy that you're going to be combating. But that's pretty much all you could do. And then you could blow fire or blow air or whatever it is that Godzilla blows. I think he blows fire. But when you're walking through those stages, you know, if you don't knock the guns out before they definitely will take heavy fire on you and take you out. So you have to walk through it quickly, fast, jump, spin, and jump, spin, to get yourself through the board without getting killed. Okay? And the combination I used to use, I remember you used to fight the Mecha Godzilla, you fought Mothra. Mothra was actually my favorite. I loved, in the movie, I liked Mothra. Mothra was awesome. And I also liked Mecha Godzilla too. So, I don't remember who the final boss was. I think the final boss was Mecha Godzilla. I don't know. I did finish this game. I did finish it. I went through the entire game. The ending seemed kind of sad for some reason, but the ending was pretty good. I definitely say it has a decent ending, for an NES title compared to others that I've seen. But this is actually a pretty solid title. Not bad at all. Not bad. I enjoyed it as a kid. I played through the entire game. It was actually able to keep my attention to where I could play through the entire game. So it wasn't a bad title. It was pretty decent. I enjoyed it. But I picked this up from the flea market for, I believe, $3. So it wasn't a bad buy. It wasn't a bad buy at all. I really hate when people write on the back of these cartridges, but I guess I just have to find something to get that off with, and I will. But if you like Godzilla games, this is a pretty decent title to pick up. It's not the best title. I think the one on Super Nintendo It was actually the best Godzilla game. But this one actually wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Alright, we're gonna move on. Okay, I don't know if too many people recognize this game. This is Destination Earthstar. From Acclaim, a side-scrolling shooter. I love side-scrolling shooters, okay? I was actually a sucker for side-scrolling shooters, but this wasn't bad. This was, okay. Really hard. From Acclaim. It's really really hard. Not too many memories with this title because I briefly played this. A friend of mine brought this over and decided, you know, hey, you want to check this game out? Yep, we checked it out. We played it a little bit. Not, you know, it's really cool. It's actually pretty awesome. But, you know, I didn't get a chance to really finish it or really get into it because it wasn't my game. It was a title that a friend brought over. So, you know, I saw it at the flea market, and I was like, okay, you know, it's a pretty decent price, $2. I'm like, okay, I can pick that up, and you know, just to have it, you know, nostalgic, and you know, of course, great. No writing on the back. It's pretty clean. All right, this is a side-scrolling shooter from Acclaim, Destination Earthstar, and we're gonna move on. Now, everybody definitely know what this is. This is Defender 2. Defender 2 from HAL Enterprises. I guess that's what that says. Defender 2, actually a pretty awesome, unique side-scrolling shooter. Let's say, when is the first time I've ever played Defender? I think I've played Defender at the arcades for the first time. Very fun game. Very, very fun. It's actually one of those shooter games that actually goes 2 different dimensions. I believe you can go forward, backwards. You know what I'm saying? Sort of like it's really weird, but it's actually a really pretty good game. Really, it didn't seem too hard to me, but it's got its challenges. It's definitely challenging, as any other shooter would be. The thing with this that's really funny about this title, if you put it in, listen to the music to it. As you can notice, the music in this game is very familiar. If you ever played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, then you would absolutely be scratching your heads. Okay, where did I hear that music? This game is actually got music ported from this game. I believe this game came out before Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. This got music ported from this game to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I actually heard 2 different tunes that were from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. If you ever pick up this title, just listen to it. The same melody. I believe one of the melody is the continuation screen when you lose. That melody, and let's see, the melody when you first enter the ring, getting ready to fight. That melody are both melodies that are in the game. So I'm like, okay, how did Mike Tyson's Punch-Out get music from Defender 2? I thought that was a little weird, but you know, pick up this title and see for yourself. It's actually really, really weird. But absolutely great game. Great shoot 'em up. Classic. So if you love shoot 'em up, classic shoot 'em up games, pick this up. This is Defender 2. I believe I got this from, the flea market for a couple dollars. And was actually a pretty decent title. And we're going to move on. Okay, here we go. We got Black Manta. I don't know if everybody know Wrath of the Black Manta. This is actually a pretty decent game. I actually got a chance to play this game very briefly, though. I might add. This is from Taito. But I seen this at RU Game, and I was like, okay, I remember briefly playing this game. It seems to be a pretty decent title. Great title. Wow, this always happens. My phone is ringing again. Hold on just a sec. Okay, I'm back. Alright, this is actually a pretty good title, I might add. Great and nostalgic music. Awesome gameplay. It wasn't my favorite ninja game. I would definitely say if you want to play a ninja game, I think Shinomi would probably be a better choice. Either Shinomi or Shadow of the Ninja or something like that. I forgot what that title is. But this is actually pretty awesome. I played this very briefly, so it's not too much that I could say about it. But from when I've played it, it's actually pretty decent. Pretty decent game from Taito. Let's see the back. The back is pretty clean. So this is Wrath of the Black Manta from Taito, and I'm going to go ahead on and move on. Okay, this is 8 Eyes from, let's see what company this is from. This is from Texan. 8 Eyes from Texan. I believe the same people that, I can't get a focus on this. They're actually the same company that brought you Logi Man, 8 Eyes. I played this very briefly as well. Sort of reminds me of Castlevania. It's really heavy, like Castlevania to me. Pretty decent music, definitely challenging. Great game. You know, if you love side scroller platformers, this is actually a pretty decent game for you. If you like. Pretty clean. Alright. And this is 8 Eyes from Texan. And, you know, it's not too much I could say about this game. I've only played it very briefly. So it's not too much to get into. And I'm trying to make this video a little shorter than the others. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to move on from here. Now this game definitely have a lot of play. This is Sunsoft Fester's Quest. Okay, awesome and great game. Besides the really scary picture in this, I used to get really creeped out over this picture of Fester. It's really creepy. Really creepy. I definitely say that'll be an incredible costume if you celebrate. If you know, Halloween costume, definitely creepy. It'll scare anyone. But anyways, the game, sorry, it's a side-scrolling shooter. Great game. As you can see, Sunsoft is the maker of this game. The same company that made Blaster Master, which is Blaster Master tune playing in the background. Very nostalgic tune that is. And this game, incredible, definitely incredible music in this game. Incredible boss fights. This game has got really awesome boss fights in it. Incredible. Let's see, have I ever finished it? I don't think I've ever finished it. I think I've gotten to the final stage, but I don't think I've ever actually finished this because, of course, I never owned this game. This game was my friend's game, and he allowed me to borrow it. But, you know, getting ready to finish this title, of course, you know, he had to get his game back and he's getting ready to go on vacation. So I had to release this game to him. And no, I never did rent the game to try to finish it or anything else, but I did get close to finishing, but never ever finished it. But I just definitely have to say this is an excellent title, great game, great graphics, side-scroller shooter game. Awesome boss fights. Anything that you want in the game, you know. It's just the character, he moves a little slow sometimes. But I definitely say the firepower makes up for all of that. Definitely makes up for all of it. You know, I remember, you know, actually fighting some of the bosses and everything. You know, if you have the right firepower, you definitely be able to get through this game pretty quickly. And I got through it pretty quick. You know, just never got a chance to finish it. But Fester's Quest is actually one of the great nostalgic titles of its time, and I definitely recommend it if you've never played it. So we're gonna go ahead on and move on from this title. This is Sunsoft's Fester's Quest. Great title, pick it up. Awesome title, awesome shoot 'em up game, and we're moving on. I'm sure everybody knows what this is. Pretty much saving the best for last. This is Legend of Zelda. The original gold cart, Legend of Zelda, came out in 1986. Probably one of the first RPG games that I've ever played, and probably one of the first RPGs that has gotten me to playing RPGs now. I actually fell in love with Legend of Zelda, fell in love with everything about it, even RPGs itself. Awesome game. It doesn't get any more legendary, and what can I say about Legend of Zelda? It's the best. I actually did finish this game. I actually played the Legend of Zelda 2 game, which I actually did like better than this one, even though this one is nostalgic and it'll always be a classic, you know, but I still love this game, and it's actually really, really famous for its incredible musical score that it has. It's pretty much anybody hear Legend of Zelda playing, they notice it right away. It's got that kind of music that will stick with you, and you will never ever forget time and time again. You know, you have it as a ringtone, you have it as on your iPod or whatnot. It is just something that always reminds you of the great times of being a kid. This is actually an early title, even though it's beautifully crafted with gold on it, and not just flat gold. It's shiny gold. Very old cartridge. It's amazing how old this cartridge is, and it still maintains its beauty. Look at that. Very clean inside, and it still shines like it do the day that you take it out of that box, that gold box or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get the gray title. I've always known Legend of Zelda for it being a gold cartridge. Absolutely gorgeous crafted cartridge here, and definitely an honor to have it in on a collector's shelf. Legend of Zelda. Just awesome, great game. This is actually a gift, though. Unfortunately, this is not my original copy. I wish that I had all of my original copies. I kept just a few of my games. But actually, this was a gift from my boyfriend, Rudy Chavez. Thank you, sweetie. He knows about all of the great cartridges, and he knows exactly what I like, and definitely this is my favorite of all time. And I love to play this game time and time again just to reminisce, but beautiful and nostalgic all at the same time. Nintendo's Legend of Zelda from 1986. Legendary, nostalgic, and just out of this world, incredible, great pop culture game. Alright, we're gonna move on. Distractions. Always distractions. Alright. You can't... Excuse me, 1 second. I'm being distracted again. Alright, I'm back. This is the sequel to Legend of Zelda. Actually, Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. This is actually the sequel to Legend of Zelda. Actually, Zelda 2 was my favorite. Zelda 2 was one of my favorites. I actually do like it better than better than the original Legend of Zelda. This one was actually had a a side stroller part that I really love, where you actually get to fight the enemies apart from the regular screen, and it was actually, you know, pretty. Just 1 second. Jesus. Okay, I'm back. I'm getting distracted again. Back to the review. This is a great title. Just actually a great side stroller, and actually got a part where you actually can look above and see like a map of the entire place of Hyrule. Places that you're going to have to be entering, places that you need to be entering, that you're going to be entering. And you know, the best part of the Adventures of Link is you actually get to play as a side stroller platformer game. Link is actually seeming like he's appeared to have grown a little bit taller and a little bit older. And actually, the boss fights in this game has gotten better from the first title, and actually gotten improved. The music is improved. Everything is improved from this title. Great and nostalgic boss fights and music, and even the parts where you're walking around in the village, you know, talking to the different people and getting hints about your progress and your next destination. You know, and it's just a lot of things about this game that the first game didn't have. And you would definitely say, okay, yeah, this is definitely a better Legend of Zelda. I definitely have to say, one of my memorable moments of playing this game is fighting Ganon himself, which we all know that you are fighting Link's shadow instead of like fighting a huge hog-like figure that Ganon was. But, you know what I'm saying? Still, a great and nostalgic moment of actually conquering this game and beating this game. You know, me and my friends actually had a club back in the days in 1989 called Video Warriors. And it was a club of me, my brother, my sister, my friend Corey, my other friend Ryan Deach, my other friend Kim, and we would get together and, you know, and lock ourselves in a room wherever the TV is, and just, you know what I'm saying, work on beating games. And actually, this was one of the first games we worked on back then. We would take turns to each castle. I believe I got the first castle. My sister got the second castle. My friend Corey got the third castle. My brother got the fourth castle. We took turns in playing stages and bosses. You know, we passed the controller around. My brother seems to be the best with codes. He seemed to be the best with finding things and remembering things. And of course me, I was always the best at beating the bosses. So anytime that my brother was having a hard time with the boss, or anybody had a hard time with one of the bosses, the controller gets passed to me and I finish the boss. So my brother had the brains and I had the skills. But you know, pretty much we all took turns in accomplishing beating this game. I believe it took us about 2 weeks to beat this game. 2 weeks tops, if not a week. It might have been a week, but I believe it was 2 weeks. So you know, those are one of the fond memories of this game. Playing this game with my buddies, with my brother and my sister back in the days, enjoying this game. And this is just a great nostalgic cartridge. Also played it in gold. This one is a little more scuffed up than, as you can see, it looks like the paint's coming off right here, but in the back, but still looks great. Great and nostalgic game, and will always live in my heart as one of my favorite Zelda games of all time, my favorite RPG series of all time. The Adventures of Link. I think came out in 1980. I believe this debuted in 88, but it was 89 when I played it. 1989, a year later. Got a chance to actually rent this game. I don't think I've ever owned it, but I rented it. And definitely one of those games where you can, as the gold plate right here indicates, that we can save our game. And this is one game that you definitely have to save because, you know, Link is a very lengthy game. It is. But it was an incredible experience to get a chance to beat this game with my friends and my brother and my sister, and with everybody's help. With teamwork is what gaming is all about. And this was just incredible times. So, Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, and I'm going to go ahead on and move on from this outstanding title to not make this video too long. And it seems like I'm getting an extra amount of phone calls too every time. Maybe I should turn my phone off the next time. Hold on just one second. We're going to move on from this title. Okay, here we go. We got ourselves another title here, and this is going to be the very last title of this segment of my games. And definitely stay tuned for part 5, for where I show you another batch of games that I have in my collection. This is definitely saving the best for last, and I'm actually honored and have been enjoying sharing with the world my collection, my memories, and all of my experiences of my childhood and gaming itself. And as we have here, this is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, one of my all-time favorite games of all time. Oh my goodness, I played the living crap out of this game. One of the, probably maybe the second game. After beating Contra and Super Mario Brothers, this was next in line as the third game that I've ever played. Man. So many memories with this game. I got so hooked on this game. I actually ended up renting this game 5 and 6 times because I became so obsessed with beating Mike Tyson. I remember I rented this game the first time, and I believe I did make it far. I made it to I made it to Soda Pop Pisky, but when I got to Sandman, it actually ended there. Sandman kicked the living crap out of me. I think I had the hardest time with the Sandman than I did with Mike Tyson himself. Man, it took me a little while to figure out how to beat the Sandman. The Sandman to me was tough. And I had to actually figure out his weakness. I had to figure out everything about him. He's just one fast-moving character, and it's like, when you're moving out the way, here comes another punch, and then he's moving on the other side, and one side to the other with uppercuts, and I had to find a way to dodge that, and it was just, I had to actually sit around, study his moves, to try to figure out how to beat the Sandman. And I ended up renting this game again, trying to figure out, you know, I had all the codes, so that I wouldn't have to start over through the entire game. I had all of the codes, okay? So I put my code in, I go straight to the closest to where Sandman is, so that I try to defeat him. It took at least, I would definitely say it took probably about 5 or 6 tries to beat him. After I rented it the second time, about 5 or 6 tries, and then I was actually did get a chance to beat him. If I'm not mistaken, the next person in line that was really tough for me was Super Macho Man. Super Macho Man was another one that was tough for me, especially when he does that winding punch and he sort of rotates around. First time he does it once, second time he does it twice, third time, if you keep proceeding, it seems like the punches increase with numbers. So when you're getting ready to knock him out, let's say you proceed and you get to around the 3rd round, and you manage to make it farther enough, he will do the winding punch at least 6 times, and you have to dodge 6 times. One hit from that punch, you're knocked out. So usually it takes about 3 knockouts to end the entire, I believe, to end the entire fight, the entire match, altogether. So Super Macho Man did a number on me. The Sandman did a number on me. And then finally, you know, after I've ran it the last time, I finally did get to Iron Mike Tyson after a long road with Super Macho Man. And of course, I had to figure out, I had to study his moves after the millions times. And, you know, I remembered his code timing. I don't know if I still remember the code to go straight to Mike Tyson. My brother used to be the best at remembering codes. I don't remember the code, but there's a code where you can go straight to Mike Tyson. You don't have to fight any other guys. You can go straight to Mike Tyson and fight him. So each time I lost, I go straight back to Mike Tyson, try to study his moves, trying to find out what his moves. I believe he has like indicate his eyes a blink to sort of give you an idea of when he's going to attack. That's the one thing about Mike Tyson. You didn't know when I couldn't figure out when Mike Tyson was going to attack. And that's the hardest thing about him. He would sit there, he would wait, and then when you think he's getting ready to punch, you will move, and then as soon as you move back into the area that you're in, boom, he hits you. And then when you think he's going to move, you move again, then he hits you again. You know what I'm saying? There was absolutely no way of telling that what he's going to do. But I found out later that that his eyes are the hint that gives you a hint of when he's going to make a move. So a lot of times, you know, once I found out the secret, I actually became better. I still end up losing. It took about several tries to even, to get a chance to beat him. But in the end, I did beat him. You know what I'm saying? In the end, I did. I haven't played this game in over 25 years, so I haven't gotten back to Mike Tyson yet. But I'm actually going to do a run of this on a review, and going through the entire game. I might not do one video going through the entire game because Punch-Out is pretty lengthy. But I may do certain segments of this game going from Glass Joe to Mike Tyson, and you will get a chance to see, get a chance to see, how I finished the game and my skills in the game. So I'm probably going to do a review run of this game, definitely. But I definitely have to say that I'm going to have to practice up, because it's been too many years that I've beaten Mike Tyson. I remember back then I had a hard time. I had the hardest time beating him. But I finally did beat him in the end. And oh my God. And in the end, I did beat Mike Tyson. And let me tell you something. After beating Mike Tyson, it was just the best day of my life. Let me tell you something. When I beat Mike Tyson, it was like a shout of glory. Everybody was like running in the room. What's going on? I say, Mom, I beat him. I got him. I got him. So it was like, I was ecstatically happy for beating this guy. I mean, because I tried to beat this. I became so obsessed with beating him. And then I finally got a chance to see the ending of the game and got a chance to see Mike Tyson knocked out for once and not me. So it was actually a very, very, very happy time for me. Very, very happy time. I'm sorry I'm laughing. This music here is it's hilarious. I don't remember this being in my playlist, but I guess I'll let it play out. But anyways, this was a very nostalgic game for me. Very happy times playing Mike Tyson's Punch. Once I beat Mike Tyson once, I went back and I started beating him again, and it became easy to me at one time. At one time, it's like really hard and just impossible to beat him. But once I got a hang of beating him, I went there and I beat him once, twice. I actually went back and played it 20 more times and beat him 20 more times. I actually got really, really, really good at this. And just kept playing this game, kept beating this game, kept playing through this game. That's how much I love this game. It's just a fun game to play, and I love going back time and time again and beating the crap out of Mike Tyson because of all the times he's beating the crap out of me. So I was pretty much getting him back for all those times he beat me. So this is just a great moment. This is just a great and nostalgic moment for me at the time. But anyways, if you've never played this game, I suggest you go out and get this game and play it, because it is absolutely fun. And it's still fun today playing. I was playing it the other day. I didn't make it to Mike Tyson, but I actually did make it to Sandman. Sandman was an absolute nightmare to me, I have to say. So I'm like, you know what? I'll play this later. I don't want to experience all of the nightmares Sandman gave me. But anyways, great and nostalgic time. This is an early Nintendo Entertainment System title, even though it doesn't have the sprites. Just has a picture of Mike Tyson knocking someone else out like he did everybody else. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have stories to tell of Mike Tyson just knocking the crap out of him, just like he is on this picture. Knocking the crap out of you. And let me tell you something, it became an obsession to me to give him a dose of his own medicine. So, alright, anyways, that'll do it for this segment of my video. This is we're going to leave you with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, this incredible game. Stay tuned for part 5. To where I'm going to be pretty much showing you possibly some recaps or maybe some new purchases of games added to my collection. It was just an honor of showing you the first 2 barrels of my games. Probably a total of pretty much almost 100 titles. These are the games that I grew up with, the games that has really, really made a difference in my life, and a lot of enjoyment of the times of playing these games. And I'm just happy to be able to share it with all of my fellow retros and all of my fans and all of everyone out there who can definitely comply with all of these great and nostalgic titles growing up, playing these games, loving these games, and just wishing that gaming can come back to the awesomeness that it was once there. But I'm going to leave you with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And as I said before, we're going to end this with this game. And as I said before, I'll see you in a bit. Until stay tuned for part 5. And keep it retro, guys. And I see you later.